We can start. Boom, there we go. Thank you for the patience, guys. Obviously, it's a bit tough for me to fill time as well because I don't know how long we're going to have. And we're kind of just ready to go for a little while. But yes, Serral says he's very ready as we are set to jump on into this. Serral versus RagnaroK game number 1 on Cyber Forest. As we go on into this ZVZ right now. Perhaps he's too ready? No, man. Is Serral ever too ready? Okay, well, it's not a 12 pool at least. We saw that once today. Bottom right-hand side, we've got the red Zerg player from Psystorm Gaming. 2-0 against RagnaroK, 1-2 against Rogue. 2 against Gumiho, 1-2 against Rogue. This is RagnaroK. And so far, with a 2-0 against Rogue and a 2-1 against Solar, his ZVZ seems good so far. This is Serral. Okay, then game number 1 of this best of 3. As we get this started, a couple drones coming up on each side of the map. Not going to be a super aggressive opening in the form of a pool first or anything like that just yet. Looks like we're going to go straight towards the hatcheries, gases, and pools then after. So Overlord coming down the bottom right side. Now we saw Solar did try a bit of a Nidus all-in against Serral. Didn't work at all. We'll see if RagnaroK has any tricks up his sleeve himself to try and grab a series or grab a map win here against Serral. Maybe a series win if he gets real lucky and real good, I think. Obviously, Serral wasn't afraid to mix in a Nidus attempt of his own, though. He mixed in Nidus, and yeah, it didn't really work out. He dragged the game on. It was actually on this map that he mixed that Nidus into this, so interested to see what that means. Serral already going into a little bit of a faster gas than what RagnaroK is building here, so slight differences. RagnaroK is opting for the spawning pool, then the gas will mean his link speed is later than usual. So definitely just things a little bit different at the moment. Oh, look at RagnaroK obviously scouting around. RagnaroK's another one of these players, you don't know what to expect. I mean, he shows up in GSL against Scarlet and just 2 very weird CVZ builds, and it's over before you can bat an eyelid. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, huh, what now? And then he shows up and he qualifies through here into the Katowice round of 24, and then he 2-0s Gumiho and takes a map off Rogue to start the day. It's pretty impressive. So definitely meaning business this week, as we are going to be seeing the Queens on the way up on either side. And the Overlord from Serral scouting down the right. This Overlord backing away a little bit from the natural. And again, as those Queens finish up, we'll really start to see what the plan may be. Serral is not building link speed again, but he's also stacking up quite a lot of gas. He didn't start the lair as quickly as he maybe could have done. Maybe he was just waiting for the Queen to finish again, though. There's the Evo Chamber. I mean, this was the map Serral went for the Nidus play on against Solar, so maybe we see this once again. It's a possibility. It is a possibility as we see that Evo Chamber just coming up to completion. Rotron dropping down. Now, on the other side of the map, RagnaroK is doing the same thing. A little bit of a faster, a little bit of a slower lair, because he did take his gas just that little bit later. And both of them going to start +1 missile upgrades. Let's see if they actually do commit through into the +1 missiles, if it's something they keep. Because we did see Serral do this before. Then he actually cancelled the +1 and went for the Nidus. It was just this +1 was meant to be a bit of a fake out. I feel in this game, though, when it's no link speed on either side, it's very difficult to commit into a Nidus because your opponent's already going to be able to make roaches to defend. So I think a lot of the time the Nidus just doesn't work in this scenario. And so we're actually just going to see a bit of a roach speed, +1 roach build. I love what Serral's doing. He's already identified, I think, there's no link speed from his opponent, so he throws down the 3rd hatchery. By throwing down the 3rd hatch already, he's going to take a little bit of a lead. While RagnaroK probably can throw down his own 3rd hatch as well. Now he sees the 3rd hatch here, RagnaroK, so he knows it's there. Still not opting for his own just yet, though. I mean, he might just be, as he drones up a little bit more heavily, he'll move over into position now. Generally, at 42 to 44 workers, you'll cut worker production in this scenario, and you'll just go purely into roaches until you hit +1 missiles and roach speed, then you'll attack, while droning up the 3rd base behind it. Just because 44 drones is the number which you need to saturate the 2 bases. 41 if you don't take that 4th gas, which is something that RagnaroK hasn't done, or Serral either. So, obviously 3 gas is enough to support the roach production for the moment. So roach production from both, but obviously because they're kind of mirroring each other, neither of them are really getting into a position where they are going to end up... yeah, neither of them are really getting into a position where they're going to be able to attack the other successfully. And so I already like the idea of Serral just adding on a few more drones, because if you had a few more drones, you're not missing that many roaches. And if you're not missing that many roaches, then all of a sudden you can, you know, hold on to an attack because you have defender's advantage, right? So I like it. Serral's already just sneaking in a couple little things that just put him a little bit into the lead at the moment. As we do see this Overseer coming down the right-hand side and seeing what's going on. Yeah, I see a lot of people in the chat just quickly asking, why is Serral on the B stream? Because they want to show everyone on the main stream. They don't just want to showcase one player all day long. They also want to switch the matchups up, so they're making sure not to just show 3 of Serral's ZVZs in a row. I'm sure he'll be back on the mainstream. He will be back on the mainstream after this series, so don't worry. He'll be back on mainstream. It's just they're trying. There is more than one player in this group, believe it or not. There's actually 6. There's actually 6. That's crazy. All right, +2 missiles coming in on each side of the map, and RagnaroK has just been positioning around. He was a bit down on drones, but now he'll get into the lead a little bit. He has a few workers jumping into the extractor over on the right side as well. Tunneling Claws on the way up, and the burrow starting as well here from RagnaroK. Getting this started. So he's going to go in towards a bit more kind of roach harassment rather than Serral, who's just looking for more of a straight-up sort of style. Roaches clash in the middle of the map. Well, I mean, roach fight's not exactly the most exhilarating. As Serral gets a few more reinforcements, he will turn this away. A couple of roaches low on health as he chases it down. And we are going to be seeing RagnaroK just pulling up towards that third base. Serral sitting on the low ground. He's down a little bit of army supply at the moment. Interesting, because RagnaroK's the one who's building into more upgrades as well, with that Tunneling Claws and the burrow coming through. Serral's in a bit of trouble here, actually. He's been outnumbered, and he will have to back away. A little thing, Serral, a couple workers up, but that's not going to help him right now, being down a little chunk of army. It's not going to help him defend this roach burrow play, and a Nidus network too. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, RagnaroK's going to play a super aggressive style. He's going to be jumping all around the place here. Jumping around, trying to hit here, hit there. This is really going to test Serral. This is really going to be a test of how well can you defend me being in all of these different positions. Roaches going to be jumping underneath. He starts moving an Overseer. Brilliant block with the Evo Chamber on the high ground. Roaches have to pop up earlier than expected. They'll burrow again, but now the Overseer finishes, and when those units are still burrowed, a couple of Roaches will take off a Queen on the third base. Serral's still just on top of these units in the main, though, and good defense by Serral. Really, just one Queen lost. That's pretty much all the damage taken. And those Roaches in the back. Serral! He's chasing one. It's because he's chasing one Roach down. There's so many more Roaches in the main, though. I think you gotta. Well, he's gonna take his time cleaning these up, just because RagnaroK is being so annoying. Now the Nidus setting up to the right side, but Serral sees it. He should jump on the Nidus and stop reinforcements coming out here too quickly. Well, he actually wants to capitalize and kill off a few more of those Roaches first. He knows if you turn back around and get the Nidus network afterwards. Great defense by Serral, who has snuck his way up to an 8-worker lead during all of this. And obviously killing a few of those Roaches for free just means that he's just taking a lead in army supply as well, because he's not losing units, while RagnaroK has been losing a chunk of units so far. Roaches in the main should be able to shut down this Nidus, while Serral also wants to keep enough units on the low ground here to shut down this attack forwards. There's Roaches in the main base, though. These Roaches will have to go and respond to that, and so they do pull away. I mean, Serral gets the chance to just push forwards anyways, kills off this Nidus. I mean, 5 drones lost. Great, but Serral is still trading so well overall. He's going into +1 carapace too. It just feels like Serral is trading very well in this and just getting into a very good spot, although for a moment he lets those Roaches slip away. But just 2 of an Overseer per base at the moment, because at the moment, currently he's running with just 2 Overseers, and he's actually running with 5, but they're all over the place. Sorry, I looked at the wrong Overseer count. Yeah, running with 5 Overseers, but it's just kind of split all over. It's tough. I mean, this is the style RagnaroK's playing, right? To try and outmaneuver, out-micro you, out-multitask you. But Serral is obviously not the sort of player that generally falls to that sort of style. And so far, he's shown us exactly why. Perfect solid play with all those little things that RagnaroK has lost. Look at that resource difference. 4,400 to 2,600. 38 Roaches to 20. A few Nidus Worms as well. And now Serral's maxed out. And now you know what? I mean, there's no Nidus on the map currently. As we find some more Roaches in the middle. Oh my god, that's so many Roaches as well, just trying to burrow underneath. Roaches and Ravs going to press straight forwards. I mean, Serral might just have enough to attack straight up here. There's also, I mean, okay, only just now Ravagers have joined the fight from RagnaroK, as Serral for a moment dove forwards, then dove back away from those corrosive bars. Probably they're going to maybe connect. He's going to keep on fighting. He has the better concave already. Splits away from those bars again. Look at how many roaches of RagnaroK are just caught up, not able to fight their hatchery. Always kind of causes this where the player on the other side of the hatch has the concave, and obviously you have to come through to defend. The corrosive bars to keep repositioning RagnaroK's army, and Serral is just absolutely non-smoking his way through this. GG picks up game 1. Not really one big fight, but a one sick play. Just consistency in terms of shutting down those harassments, not allowing RagnaroK at a single time to be like, oh, this is my moment. I think at one point a few roaches killed 5 drones, and it was like that's the most you do while losing 18 more roaches? Definitely wasn't pretty. It's really tough, because if that's your style of playing ZVZ, I think it's a very tricky style to deal with. But Serral is like the absolute master of being everywhere. He's so fast. I just don't think that works against Serral. And you saw why, right? He shut down everything. And it was just slowly and surely Serral built up a few more roaches here. He cleaned up over there, built up a few more roaches, kept getting those advantages, and then GG's, boom. Serral just knocks out the park. When he's maxed out, he's like, right, well, now I attack you and you die. He even catches more roaches on his way over. GG's, and Serral up by 1 as we get ready for game 2 on Port Alexander here in Serral versus RagnaroK. Just getting ready to jump on into this. Just give it a few moments, guys. Just a few moments. Okay, looks like we're good to start. Perfect. Let's jump into game number 2 then. On Port Alexander. Jump into this, see what happens. Serral, I mean, what does RagnaroK do? Do you go into like a one-base attack? I don't think so, because that involves micro, and it seems Serral's pretty good at that too. I just don't know how you choose a build against Serral. I really don't know. Let's go into Port Alexander. Let's see what happens. Serral looking to increase his offline streak here to, I believe, 45-0 if he wins this series. Top left, our blue Zerg. This is Serral. Just confused for a moment because I saw an Overlord building and a drone on the other side. Looks like RagnaroK will be slightly different on his build, just extractor tricking. Slightly different stylistic choice. I think at the end we figured out extractor tricking was calculated to not be worthwhile, especially in Legacy of the Void economy. But it's such a minor difference. Some players like to do it, some players feel it gives you that little bit of a boost, and maybe it sets you up a bit differently depending on how you want to go. Bottom right, this is RagnaroK. So hatchery drops from either player, from each player. And both of them just going into those drones. Serral will end up maybe one worker ahead here for a moment. I mean, they're ping-ponging around the same amount. Obviously, with that extractor trick, the timings are slightly different, but as they come out, yeah, they're actually going to be dead, even I just miscounted. Perfect. 17 drones each, going down to 16, of course, as they make the gas and then the pool. And we're mirroring each other in these early stages. Can we explain the assimilator play, the extractor trick? If you're new to StarCraft, maybe it's something you don't see that much, but basically, instead of making the Overlord on 13, you go to 14 drones, then you make the Overlord, so you get one drone a little bit faster, then you build an extractor which frees up a supply, build another drone, cancel the extractor, and you end up kind of, it basically just built the Overlord one supply later. And obviously you get that first drone a bit faster, but as you can see here, at the end of the day, they've both ended up in a very similar position, so it doesn't make a massive difference. It's something we used to see all the time in ZVZ, actually, or most Zerg openings, actually. But nowadays, it's really kind of fallen out of fashion. Again, people have figured out that it's actually not worthwhile in the end. As we do see the Evo Chamber here from RagnaroK. So he's not going to start link speed right away. He's instead going to go straight into +1 melee. So he's looking to time this out, where +1 melee and Ling Speed will finish at the same time. And he's going to turn this into an aggressive attack with Zergling Focus. And Serral just goes into the Ling Speed for the moment. Serral will not have that upgrade, which is something he means he has to be very cautious of, because it means in traditional Ling Bane fights, he's not going to have the equal trading or the equal footing you're usually on. Obviously, maybe he can get a bit of an edge because his Ling Speed is faster. Maybe he can do something with that earlier in the game here. The thing with the melee upgrade is that Bane lanes really shut this down very easily. If this was Carapace, the Bane lanes don't one-shot the Lings anymore. But with +1 melee, the Banes just do as much as before. Obviously, Lings can maybe pick off a Bane lane a bit faster when you split that one Zergling away and target down the Bane lane with it. So that's nice, but in general, Carapace is more kind of the go-to. With a +1 melee, it is also less likely that we see even a second Evo Chamber. +1 melee generally means we're less likely to see a Roach-based follow-up as well, because usually you'd go Carapace and then play like a Ling Roach style where they both benefit from the Carapace upgrade. This Evo Chamber, I wonder if it was just the idea of trying to sell Serral short of something, like sell the idea of there's not an Evo Chamber in my main, I'm just making my first Evo Chamber now. It's actually a pretty cool little trick right there by RagnaroK. That's really smart little something. Because again, it makes it look like a Roach-based opening from RagnaroK, when really, it's that +1 melee about to finish. Now, Serral started his own Evo Chamber going into Carapace, but he will not have that as fast as the melee upgrade. So he will be behind on the upgrade for a while. Let's see what happens as Ling Speed about to kick in from RagnaroK. He's been making a good amount of Zerglings, but so is Serral, so he's not going to be caught completely off guard by this. Sees those Lings, and will start to run away pretty quickly. Just needs to figure out his +1 melee on those. He actually starts up the Roach Roaring already, Serral. I mean, that's, again, much more what you kind of expect, like I was mentioning. If you go Carapace first, the Roaches will have Carapace as well, and that obviously goes a long way to helping out. There's that Queen pulling back in a little moment or two, and so far RagnaroK not finding an opening to do too much here. So RagnaroK not finding a way to get too much done just yet, as we are going to be seeing the Roach Roaring about to finish up from Serral. He can get his Roaches out, and I think he's going to be just fine. RagnaroK's melee will not end up doing much at all. Going into the Bane Nest, again, for the melee upgrade, is expected to be more Ling Bane. Might even see the lair into Aspire. He's built a Roach Roaring. Well, he was building a Roach Roaring, but he looks like he's cancelled it and built the Bane Nest instead. So, just going to go Ling Bane. Let's see what he does. He jumps straight on towards the third base. Already dealing a little bit of damage here. Lings and Queens hanging out on the ramp. On the top side, a few of these Zerglings from RagnaroK pulling away as well. Serral still trying to chase those down whenever possible. RagnaroK with some units down on the bottom. Banelings will start to morph. It's just going to need some really good connections to take down these Roaches, though. He needs to really clean up the Zerglings with the Banes and then jump straight on those Roaches with a big surround. Serral will see this coming in. His Queen, unfortunately, a bit too far forwards. Will go down here. The Lings from Serral. Well, they have to be careful. With the +1 melee, the Banelings will one-shot despite the Carapace upgrade. Serral is struggling to deal with this. Serral has completely messed up the micro. A hugely uncharacteristic mistake from Serral as he completely messes up against the Banelings, and his Zerglings just go running on in, and RagnaroK wins right then and there. Serral just something was not right with his hotkeys or something, just runs all of the Lings into the Banes, and that is extremely costly. And that's the one thing that Serral really needed to stop. Like, that was exactly not what was needed. So that was brutal. I mean, those Lings need to hang back at the Roaches to target the Banes. Maybe lose little clumps of Lings on Banes. Losing that many, never going to work. Because then the Lings surround the Roaches, they kill that, and it just overwhelms you from there. GG. Alright, game 3 in a moment. Waiting for the permission to begin it. We've had third game every single series so far. It's been awesome, as we're just waiting a moment apparently before we can go in game. Yeah, mistake from Serral, guys. Doesn't happen all the time. Just waiting for our caster to join the lobby, our desk analyst to join the lobby. I think they're probably showing the replay at the moment, taking just a few moments. Alright, so just seeing what's going on. Yeah, we're just, they're not even showing the replay, they're just not at the desk. So a few moments, guys, we can't really speed this up at the moment. We just gotta wait for them to get in the lobby. We can't go without them. It's going to be Year Zero as our next map here. It's going to be a pretty large map as well in general. So it does actually open itself towards those Ling Bane styles rather than the Roach styles. It's going to be very difficult to push aggressively here. Stuff like Nidus network play will be much more apparent and much more useful, I think, as the games pass by. Just a few moments, guys. We're tied up 1-1 in this best of 3. Will RagnaroK be the one to dethrone Serral and stop his win streak? Well, perhaps. Well, perhaps. There we go. Alright, go ahead, cast it in here right now. And we're going to go into Year Zero any second. There we go. Again, after this, on the B stream is going to be Innovation versus RagnaroK. Obviously, we're going to have to wait for Innovation Rogue to finish on the mainstream first and so on, but that's our general plan. Innovation RagnaroK, and then we go into whatever matches kind of lead on from there. The 5th series isn't decided until the mainstream knows what they're going to take based on other little bits and pieces. They kind of base it on, you know, if it's important for the group, certain matches and stuff like that. So with that said, let's go into some more of the action here. Serral versus RagnaroK on Year Zero, about to kick off. Okay, so to the top left-hand side, we are going to be starting with our Psystorm Gaming Red Zerg player from Korea. This is RagnaroK taking on the Blue Zerg. In the upper right-hand side, we've got Serral. The last time Serral lost an offline series was in March of 2018 against Maru. He then went on to beat Classic in the 3rd place match and has now been on a win streak ever since when it comes to offline matches. Until maybe right now, if RagnaroK can pick up this game against Serral with an uncharacteristic mistake in game number 2. Link control, that was definitely leaving a lot to be desired. It looked a bit more like me trying to control those Zerglings than it did Serral. And there it is. You know, sometimes he slips, sometimes he makes a mistake. Those things happen. Very rarely does it cost him games, though. Very rarely are they that catastrophic. It's one of the worst times you could have made that mistake as well, because it's really like absolutely you cannot have that happen, but it is so easy to let happen. You know, maybe your hotkey goes wrong, you misclick ever so slightly, there's a couple different things, and boom, you know, you're dead. Then and there, no questions asked. Overlord's moving across the map, of course. Early game on Year Zero, very passive, very large map. Again, would not be surprised to see an Evo chamber early, going in towards the Zergling-based upgrade in a Lingbane game. It's also a very large map, so Mutalisks are an option as well. Even if we start with Roaches, switching into Mutas is obviously going to be a real kind of something you can do here, as the 3rd hatch from RagnaroK starts nice and early. Serral will not go into his 3rd hatchery this quickly, as he just transfers a couple drones down to the natural expansion here, getting this going. Link speed on both sides for the moment, and we have not seen an Evo chamber coming up, so well, okay, no Evo chamber then, no upgrades for now. Might just be pushing straight towards a few lings. I think you need lings on this map just for how large it is, just for a bit of map control. Counter-attack potential is obviously huge as well. Even if you don't commit into ling upgrades and a lot of lings, the first like 18 to 20 lings I think are very useful to still commit into, and as Serral drops down his 3rd hatchery, it's definitely still a possibility. We'll see if the Banner Nest comes into play as well. As we do just see a few drones on the way up on each side of the map. 3rd hatch coming on down, and a couple of Zerglings from Serral just gathering together, getting set to go. Banner Nest from Serral hanging out on the natural expansion. 10 more Zerglings starting to come on out. So a bunch more Zerglings on the way currently. 10 more Lings from RagnaroK on the way as well. Ling Speed going to be finishing up in a moment. And again, a lot of Zerglings to go here. As you do see this Queen from RagnaroK going to come forwards. Get ready to inject. First Ling streaming across the map. Here we go then. This is what we've been waiting for. Some action to kick off. It is going to be Banelings as well. So Ling Bane from either side. Already Serral actually just moving a couple of Banes defensively. Will run a couple through the center here. Even just getting across and slipping some Lings into the main can be very good for information as to what this follow-up is looking like. Serral comes in, picks off a couple of Lings already. His first Banelings ready to go. RagnaroK yet to make an appearance with Banelings just yet. He will pull back. There's those couple of Zerglings I was talking about. The ability to scout. Sees the gases on the natural, goes into the main, sees the lair. Very good information for Serral. And it looks as though with these gases being taken... Okay, Rotoron built now at the front. I'm still not sure if I'm convinced about the Rotoron because there's no Evo chamber. I'd be much more willing to believe that this is perhaps still going to just be a Spire and some Mutalisk play from RagnaroK as we see him pull him all the way back home. Couple of defensive Banes on the way. Now Serral does go Rotoron and he has that Evo chamber, and that's really just what's missing here from RagnaroK to really sell this Rotoron to me. It might just be the Rotoron's there just in case he needs to defend, but his main intention is to still just throw down that Spire with 200 gas in a moment or so. Extra gases, taking all the boxes. So it seems to be the plan for him. Is Serral? Well, he's going to play the Roach style, then he'll have to go defensive against the Mutalisks. A lot of Queen production, maybe switching up in towards Hydralisks. May want to go Infestors on a larger map like this one rather than Hydras, which are a little bit slow and a little bit less mobile. But because it's a large map, you could also go Hydras and switch it in towards those Lurkers as well. Also a possibility. A couple Lings of Serral running by. Lings of RagnaroK running around as well. And just going to be seeing the Banes and RagnaroK continue to come forwards. Just taking some position in the middle of the map. He is going to go for the Roach speed. So trying to still sell the idea of this Roach play. Just while Serral was scouting, just checking, sees Roach speed. He's like, okay. Serral's a little bit blind, but he is out on extra Queens. I don't think he's fully sold on the idea of Roaches from his opponent. What'll be interesting is obviously with meters on this map, it is so large. Serral counterattacking is really just something that can't happen, I don't think. I just don't think there's a way for Serral to say, okay, let's send my Roaches across the map and pull your meters back home, because they're just not even going to reach the base to do any damage, realistically. RagnaroK can afford about 8 Mutalisks here to begin with, as, ooh, I love this, though. The Nidus network. Oh, so he's going to Nidus with the +1 and Roach speed, and he'll have the Queens in there as well. Oh, I actually love this from Serral. It completely negates the size of the map to some extent, and it can really punish someone who's rushing up into those Mutalisks. So I might have to get a couple of spores back at home, but honestly, he probably will hit before the Mutas get across here, so maybe he doesn't need spores right away. Okay, he will actually start them up anyways. Spore crawlers on the way through. And here we go. This is going to get real exciting real quick. Serral doesn't want to get too aggressive with the Nidus, I feel. Doesn't want to put it in range of anything. You know, just put it down here and then work forwards. Mutas coming in, showing themselves. Picks off an Overlord so far. RagnaroK is on his way down to the bottom. Kind of felt like he was heading towards the Nidus, but then he doesn't. Nidus pops. Queens will be there here to spread a little bit quick forward, but they don't want to spend too much energy. Wants to be able to obviously kind of keep the energy for transfusions, and they'll probably maybe potentially bring some drones through some spore crawlers as well. I wouldn't mind the idea. 5 Queens at the moment as those Roaches unable to do much. And then you're seeing the Nidus in the main base pops out. A few Roaches out of here, but only a few, not too many. Queens pressing forwards. This next Nidus comes a bit further forwards. Mutas are going to dive on in. Queens forced to transfuse each other up. I don't think there's enough anti-air actually. And now Serral's in a little bit of trouble. These Queens aren't going to do enough, but the Roaches will be able to get some damage done. At least currently picking off an Extractor on the third base. Some more Roaches popping out. What does Serral do overall though? Like, what's his follow-up to this? He's going to dive for the natural. Doesn't have time to kill the third base here. Constraining the natural. I mean, just going to go for drones then. As you see, another Nidus in the main base. More Roaches going to pour out here. This is really nice now because those meters are obviously going to be pulled apart a little bit. Zerglings running across the map as well. 10, 12 drones down. The Roaches on the natural now starting to be cleaned up though. Serral starts another Nidus network, picking off drones from the main base as well. He's got a couple Queens, and he's starting Spore Crawlers in the main. That's, I think, is a big, big moment, because if he gets the Spore Crawlers up, these Mutalisks are obviously going to have a much harder time cleaning out And obviously having them in your main base is kind of rough, because then you can't even hold your main. Roaches back over here. The spores will finish. That's big, as Serral still spamming out queens, still spamming out roaches. Obviously a lot of roaches going down. I think one of the big things too, RagnaroK just pulling drones all over the place, isn't mining. And without mining, he's obviously not able to keep on building a lot of the time. As these drones finally get back to it here, he's on 17 workers, and it feels as though Serral has probably done enough. As extra spores begin to build now. I mean, these mutants are basically forced to fight the spore crawlers, I think. They grab the queen, they go for the nidus, but they're just eating spore crawler damage. I mean, 2 more spores on the way up. I'm not even sure if it's going to matter, because he killed 1, but 2 more coming in. The nidus coming in. Queens will pop out again, most likely. Spores will get a couple of shots. The nidus will finish. Okay, nidus gets killed pretty fast. These spores can't do too much, but they're still dealing damage to the mutas. There's another roach on that third base as well, getting just another couple of drones. And RagnaroK is below 20 workers and struggling. Main thing from Serral is just making sure he doesn't end up in a position where he's unable to defend back at home. He's got 2 spores on the natural. He's got a spore on the main. He's got a good amount of queens back at home as well, actually. I think he's okay with the spore support. I think he should be fine, as these mutas are still unable to really fight these spore crawlers here in the main. The nidus will get up, actually. More roaches just run across the bottom side, and that's the GG from RagnaroK. Doesn't even take another larger fight. It's just more and more drones dropping on down. GG. Serral makes it work, even though for a moment or two it looked like, well, is he going to make it work? But he just got so many worker kills. He was all over the place, kept up his production. It's so hard to do that. To keep on producing, hitting injects at home, sending units across the map, setting up the next nidus, hitting the third base, all these different things he was doing, splitting the roaches, pulling the mutas out of position. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult.